Yeah, this is the Hawk. This is a quick update. My studio is under construction, revamping. Hopefully, next year we'll have something a little bit different. For right now, just want to give you an update on the U.S. elections. Texas filed a lawsuit along with Alabama, Utah, and a few others to contest the election due to the constitutional violations by four states, Georgia namely, and a few others, where they violated the constitution of the state. However, this is a federal country. So, in other words, each state has an autonomy and has a constitution of their own that the federal government cannot violate their sovereignty. However, if they broke constitutional law, they probably could. Now, Giuliani and others are stating that this is not over, which is good. Pompeo, in his number of his speeches in the last week or so, has also indicated the same thing. He is also hinting that China is deeply involved in what is going on right now. According to news reports, Biden was accused by Burisma in Ukraine this week. They admitted to giving him $900,000 as a bribe. How much of that will come out in the next couple of weeks, I'm unsure, but I can guarantee you the Republican Party will go after him for his entire presidency if he is elected president. Trump has not conceded, and some of these Republican senators that are trying to get him to concede are part of the swamp. They're realizing now that a number of their underhanded deals with the Democrats and their bribery and corruption is coming to bite them. Hopefully, we can take these people out with a vote and find them guilty. For instance, Senator Romney of Utah is just a scumbag, needs to go. And there's a few others, some from Texas. We need to remember in the next election. With regards to South Africa, the South African government, the ANC government, has completely lost control of the country. There is no law. They're attacking the opposition party and telling them to stay out of their business, yet they can't control the corruption within their own party. They are threatening the leader of the DA, but all he's doing is pulling out the truth, saying, you guys are corrupt to the core, from Ramaphosa to the lowest guy in the ANC. As for the South African Human Rights Organization, they're a complete joke. They are biased, they are not doing their jobs, and are aware that if they do confront these human rights violators like Masatama and Malema and Ace Mashula and others, guaranteed they will be attacked and murdered. Hence, nothing will get done in South Africa. Truck drivers right now are risking their lives to drive semi-trucks anyway. They are being shot at. The trucks are being burnt and looted by the hundreds. Government's doing absolutely nothing about it. Farm murders every single day. Old guy went up to his gate the other day. They shot him dead. 80 years old. They didn't take his car. They didn't take anything. They just killed him. They had went up to a farm. They had kidnapped some Germans. got them to entice the people out of the house and attacked them. They were caught. 3 of them are dead, 1 serious. It's about time. A black farmer the other day, they went to his farm, they tied him to a tree and shot him too. This is not just the whites now. It never was. It's everybody. It is time to take your country back from the government. Where's Zuma? Why isn't he in jail? Because nothing's going to happen. He's got blackmail on the whole of the ANC because they were all taking bribes. It doesn't matter what happens. He won't go to jail because he's going to sing. And he's probably got people that were deeply involved, even though he's as dumb as a brick. These people probably have letters, signed letters, money transfers. All the names are in a list, and hence nothing's going to happen to this guy. So many things that in South Africa, it's absolutely ridiculous now. You have some white people running around that are hell-bent on turning other white people in for racism. But they do not want to talk about BEE laws and all these other disgraceful racist laws that are on the books that are far worse than apartheid ever was. You have German government spending billions to build hospitals in South Africa that are empty. Hundreds and hundreds of beds, well equipped, cannot be manned. Why? Because the government won't hire white people. So they leave the hospitals to be completely deteriorated. And doctors they have to hire from overseas. This is pure racism. The SAA, the South African Airlines, has decided that no white people can be employed in their airlines. Now, I don't know why the world hasn't said something, but it just shows you the idiocy of these people. You cannot understand the logic. Right now, in every single town, city, road, something is happening. They have lost control. Now, the international signal for distress when the government has lost control is to fly your flag upside down, half-mast. Wherever you can, do such a thing. And the reason I'm telling you this is when Bosnia did this, the Americans came to their aid. This is an international signal for distress, that the government has lost control. And that is exactly what has happened to South Africa. Take into account that only about 4% of the country pays taxes. In most of the townships, and every black person that I know will attest to the fact that people don't pay their electricity bills in the townships. So, when they generate electricity from Eskom, who is run by Ramaphosa, they cannot pay the bill. So what has he done? He has borrowed money from the Chinese that he cannot pay back. And they will own Eskom in the end. They will own the SAA. They probably own your harbors already. That's why they're shipping goods through South Africa to the rest of the world so they don't have to pay tariffs. They have almost every single politician in South Africa that is ruling in their pockets because they're bribing them. Julius Malema is being funded by the British. So is Ramaphosa as well. In 1990, a group of financiers sat down with the ANC, 8 on one side of the table, 8 on the other. And the ANC needed money. And they sold South Africa to these financiers because they were told, because they were ignorant at the time. They did not know how to run a country. They were terrorists. The only thing they knew was to terrorize people, necklace them, and put out bombs. They did not have the education or the know-how to run a country. They thought, just get some money and we can do this. They had to sign a bunch of paper. And they were told, you do what we tell you or we will destroy you. It's very simple. South Africa is not run by the South African government. It is controlled by international conglomerates. But the problem is, you cannot put uneducated arrogance in a government. Because as much as you tell these people you cannot do something, they did it anyway. The country is now ungovernable. The police has lost control. Sele is a joke. Most of the police departments have lost the dockets, lost the evidence. You do not have fingerprints departments. You don't have a DNA department. You do not have funds. Even the military, the South African military doesn't have funds. Why? It's because you cannot spend more than you are getting in. You cannot get international investors when your country has murders like it's going out of fashion every single day. Nobody's going to invest in a country where the farmers are being murdered, that the country's going to be in starvation in the next 10 years. You cannot send people to that country to invest their good-earned money and hope that they will get it back when you've got people like Julius Malema that doesn't want people there. You cannot have people going there when your foreign drivers are being slaughtered on the road because they're coming, bringing you goods or taking your goods out of the country. Pulling the drivers out, I've seen the pictures, pulling the drivers out of the trucks and cutting their arms and legs off, men and women. There is no logic to this. So if the ANC is listening, you are at fault for the whole of South Africa right now. You're going into 27 years of mismanagement, corruption, and a complete mess because you pushed your racism so far, it's backfired. Now, 90% of the people in South Africa, 99.9% of the people in South Africa are black. Who's suffering? The white people? They're suffering because you're blaming them for your incompetence, nothing else. No international investor will in their right mind would invest in South Africa under these conditions. Not 1 red cent. I wouldn't. But the Chinese are. Why? Because nobody touches them. They're extremely powerful. They're sending in 13 police stations. Why did they do that? It's to control their citizens from stepping out of line. And yours. They have a military base there. Probably about 50,000 troops. In a city they built by themselves that no other white people, black people, or anybody can go in there because it's only for Chinese. They have their own power plants, their own living quarters, their own everything. Who gave that to them? The South African government. The South African government is a terrorist organization. That's where they started, as a terrorist organization. Mandela's house in Soweto is up for grabs right now because they can't pay the bill. How insulting is that for the so-called freedom fighter for the freedom of South Africans? They do not have money, so they've evicted everybody out of Mandela's house in Soweto. This proves the complete idiocy and incompetence of this government. No matter how you look at this, they have no loyalties to its people, but their own pockets. This is not about white people. This is about every single person in South Africa. Because South Africa is not a color. It is a piece of land. It's part of the continent of Africa. It's ground. Until you build it, they will not come. So if you keep burning it down, nobody's coming. If you do not have roads to support your industries and to support your land or to export or import, you got nothing. If you keep burning your schools down, you're going to have uneducated children. That's exactly what's happening. Anybody that's educated would not follow Malema. They truly believe that they're going to get something for free. Now, in 1990, I remember quite clearly that the ANC were promising people that they go down to Prospecton in Natal and they can go get themselves a brand new Toyota truck. So after the elections, thousands of people pitched up to the Prospecton Toyota plant and asked for their truck. What happened? It was a lie. Just like Malema is lying to everybody right now. So you go to a school and you toy and you do all of that stuff. What did you get? Nothing. Who's paying for the buses? Where does Malema get his money to put everybody on buses and send them there to toy for him? Where was he? Was he in the front lines getting tear gassed and water bombed and beat up? Nope, he's in the back laughing, drinking the twala, riding around in with a nice Mani suit on and his Gucci shoes and his Rolex watch, spending money that he's getting from England to keep the country in a mess. The rand-dollar exchange is about 16-1 right now. To get 1 ounce of gold out of the ground in South Africa is $100. $100. They sell it on the stock market, like I said before, for over $1,000. That means they're keeping your economy in a mess constantly. They keep you in flux the whole time, hating each other, fighting each other, so they can keep the rand-dollar exchange to where it is. Why? Because to get minerals out of the ground in South Africa is far cheaper than to pay for it. So who are they using? They're corrupting the politicians in South Africa, buying up all the leases, and selling the country to the people, not the South African people, but to the foreign companies, the money. Yes, land reform. Okay, so land reform. The Cape does not belong to any black tribe in South Africa. Only the Khoisan. And that is even in question right now because there were treaties done. And they are the only legitimate people that can tell you who can stay there. Nobody else. So anybody going to the Cape and screaming, this is my land, this is my... Please stop talking nonsense. I challenge every single tribe in South Africa, every leader, every loudmouth, so-called historian, go to international court and prove your case. Prove you were there prior to 1880, the 1800s. Prove it historically, or shut up. because all you're doing is being a racist idiot. From the day you stepped in that country, from the day you were born on that land, you are South African, not a color. I don't care what anybody says. You can't change my mind. You can beat me in the ground, shoot me, stab me, burn me. I don't care. It'll never change. And to every single citizen in South Africa, you need to be proud as a South African, nothing else. And don't listen to idiots like Malema, because all they're doing is burning your country to the ground, just like they did in Rhodesia. And those Rhodesians are now in your country. Ask them, do they want to go back to Rhodesia to starve, or are they in South Africa? Why are they in South Africa? Why? They want a better life. But who is creating another situation where it'll be exactly the same? Malema and Ramaphosa. Secretary Pompeo said it the other day. South Africa is making suicidal economic decisions with land reform. What more can we say? This is the Hawk. Please subscribe to my channel. Hit the like button and share. I'll be back next week with some more. Hopefully my studio will be back up and running. See you then.